But I actually went through last night. I went through like my whole collection. And I picked out stuff that I thought would be like worth investing in now. And I actually invested 100 packs into all of this stuff. So I have a spreadsheet. So this is my spreadsheet. I have a bunch of short-term cards, intermediate-term cards, long-term cards, speculative cards. So this is all stuff that I think is like good enough. Like it just has an inherent value because they're like good enough cards, right? That eventually they'll find a spot in the meta, or like maybe like Tricky Jim will make a video about them, or you know, something like that, and their prices will spike, right? So this for wanted page is I went through all of the V's and the shinies and stuff like that. And so this is all stuff that would have like fluctuating value that could go up and down depending on how the meta like cycles. And so I compiled that into like what I invested in. So I had 100 packs of Chilling Reign stuff lying around, and this is what I invested in. The first thing I bought was Rose. I spent 20 packs on 10 roses. So I got roughly 1 rose for every 2 packs I spent. The reason I think Rose will be really good is because Rayquaza is going to be really good, right? And so like the preliminary testing right now for Rayquaza is like a Rose build. Rose is like just like a super good card in the VMAX format, right? Because like just auto energy acceleration is just always going to be really good. So eventually Rose will find a place in the meta, and these 10 roses that I bought, I'll be able to sell hopefully for something more. And I will have profited like, I don't know, like 20 packs or whatever. The next thing was Victini V and Victini VMAX. Kind of is like a compound. I got my Victini Vs for 2 packs, and the Victini VMAXs for, the median price was about 2.5, and so I spent 29 packs on these 2 cards. Victini VMAX has seen like cyclical play, right? And it saw a lot more play before Ice Rider came out, but I think eventually the meta will cycle and you'll see Victini VMAX being good again, especially because now Tag Team GXs are out of the picture, so it's always doing 220 against multiple prize Pokemon. We're also getting Volcarona, right, which might mean that like variants of Victini VMAX come out. So Victini VMAX I think will be good eventually. So I bought a bunch of Victini V and VMAX stuff. Hopefully it will turn a profit eventually once Victini VMAX gets good. The next thing is Wailord, and I'm super excited about Wailord. I bought 20 Wailord Vs. The thing is they're going for less than a pack right now. You see I only spent 13 packs. Wailord, right, there are a lot of people speculating that Wailord could be like a tier 2 deck. I think post-rotation, Wailord could be really good, because Wailord is just a 280 HP V Pokemon that you can slap a Cape of Toughness on and be 330 HP. And of course, Pikaram's gone, so Electric isn't that big of a threat anymore. And so you'll just have this really bulky 2-prizer that could become a viable archetype, right? You know, Frostmoth is just really good energy acceleration. Glimwood, Tangle, like you have the potential to one-hit knockout VMAXs if you hit 3 heads. So I think eventually Wailord will be worth like a pack, or like more than a pack, or like maybe 2 packs or something, 3 packs. And I think this is like a super good investment. And the other thing about Wailord is that there's only 1 copy of it. And so like it's kind of a scarcity thing where there's no full art, there's no reprints, right? There are no other Wailord Vs, right? It only came out once. And so the last thing that I have marked is Houndoom, right? And we talked about Umbreon earlier in the stream. Umbreon in Single Strike will probably have its own deck. And right now, Single Strike isn't like super good, but eventually it will be. It will be at some point, and for people who want to build Single Strike decks, they'll need Houndooms. So I invested 28 packs in 3 of the full art Houndooms. I got them for mostly 9 packs apiece, because I think eventually, especially with Umbreon coming out, eventually Single Strike will be really good. Other stuff that I got 4 Mimikyus, because I think once Shadow Rider will lose Gengar Mimikyu, so I think Shadow Rider will be looking for something else to pair it with, and maybe Mimikyu will see play. So I got 4 full art Mimikyus because it's really cheap right now. I got a bunch of Ditto Vs like I was talking about, and that's because I think eventually, I have this marked in long term because I think it's not like an imminent thing, but I think eventually Ditto V will be really good. I'm not sure when and I'm not sure how, but I think eventually there will be like an Aurora box deck or something like that that'll be good. It's not entirely spent yet, but that's the story of how I spent 100 packs on rare Pokemon in the PTCGO, and hopefully I will be able to make a second video about this because I will have like made money on it.